we have an energy situation within the internal market that is very worrying. We now import 50% of our total energy consumption for Europe, and the prognosis forecasts are that it might be 70% in a couple of years. At the same time, we have a security problem. We have a security of supply problem, of course. We have had a number of incidents when it comes to distribution of both gas and oil. And we've had major blackouts in Germany and France and Italy and all over Europe. We have a distribution net, a grid, that is not up to date with technical standards and a lot of technical problems. And of course, we have the climate issue. So what we are now currently working with in terms of legislation in the European Parliament is first an energy package that was presented by the Commission in December, that deals with production, distribution and consumption of energy, and we have a climate package that addresses the environmental issues of energy.
We would never have imagined discussions on this subject here in this European Parliament in such an open and lively fashion. In 2006, when the gas crisis between Russia and Ukraine shook up Ukraine and indeed the whole of Europe, then we realized that we needed a common policy for energy. Now we're talking about the third energy package. In other words, we've already had the first two, and now we're on to the third one. And we are making progress towards a common policy. Perhaps it's premature to talk about a true common policy for energy, but as far as we're concerned in the new member states, these are very important issues. We made some commitments before we joined the European Union, and now these these commitments, are taking on a new dimension.
We are trying to really make an important step towards a more integrated internal market. It's not only a question of legislation, but it's also a question of what happens to the so-called energy islands, how they can integrate. Is there a way for them to play a role in the internal market, or do they hamper the developments on the internal market? These are all very important questions, and of course not all also linked to questions of security of supply. So I would say that from a legislative point of view, what we have today in the second package and what the Commission has proposed in the third package that is now being discussed here in the Parliament, there is no basic change in relation on how small isolated smaller markets are treated.
Stockholm is a city of islands. But the problems of energy islands has been decreasing the more we are moving away from fossil fuels. If you look at the emissions of carbon dioxide from some of our countries here, you can see our different states represented here. Many of the Baltic and Nordic countries have a very diverse emissions per capita, from 15 tons per capita down to 4. Sweden is in the lower part with some 6.3 tons per capita. We have quite a lot of hydropower and nuclear power in our electricity production, which helps us. But of course, these figures depend on how we heat our cities and our dwellings and how we do our transports as well.
We can see here that there is just one single connection to Russia, and the Finnish also have a connection to Russia. And the situation is similar if we come on to gas. And this is a bit of a problem for us, of course. So if we move on to the third package and looking at the situation in Lithuania, then I really am looking forward to hearing from all our colleagues, and I was particularly interested in hearing what our colleague from Stockholm said. Very much looking forward to the time when we're going to be able to have closer cooperation with them and to be able to discuss climate change in more detail with them. Obviously, we're dealing with the third package and liberalisation, but in Lithuania we have problems. We face problems which are very specific to the country.
It's of outstanding importance that the political and the bureaucratic machinery, how Brussels gets its act together at the 6th of June at the latest at the coming Energy Council. Second point, an energy policy for a liberalized market will not work, obviously, unless interconnections with no bottlenecks are in place. That means that a rapid and comprehensive development of building of grids is an extremely, it's a precursor to the realization of the liberalized electricity market. I'm sticking to electricity here, I'm not talking about the gas market.
We have a very dense network for gas in Finland. We have pipelines following the coast, the south coast, and we consume about 5 million cubic meters of gas a year. What you see in that dark red colour there are the main lines which are at present in existence. We have others that are planned. And we will be building more of these gas pipelines in southern Finland, and also we will be building a link to Estonia, which is known as the Baltic Connector.
When a 10-year-old schoolboy gets a bad grade in school, he never goes directly home. He walks around the park, buys a newspaper, plays football, plays with the neighbor's dog or something like that, hoping that the bad grade will go away. This is precisely how I see European energy policy. When it comes to, for instance, Ignalina or Bulgarian power stations, European Union believes that whether the problem or Russia will go away, but I'm afraid that both of them, Russia as well as problems, will stay for predictable future. So we have to tackle with the problems. I think that we've introduced a little bit wrong concept that's called energy security, and we interpret it only one way.
The region integrates and Lietuvos dujos contributes to this process. For example, we finished construction of the new border gas metering station on the Latvian-Lithuanian border in 2005. The station enabled regulate gas flows in both directions and enhance security of supply for both countries, first of all for Lithuania and Latvia. The region, as it has been already mentioned several times, is supplied 100% by Russian gas, and there is no different gas infrastructure connection with mainland EU. There is just a connection with Poland via Minsk.
We don't have any solutions for how to deal with the third countries. And that is not only Russia, it's other countries as well. For you, Russia is very close and a very obvious problem, of course. But we do have to have a common policy that brings on transparency, reciprocity, and rule of law with those we deal with. And this, of course, means also Russia. The Putin policy right now is divide and conquer in a very classical manner. And the only way I agree is to make a bypass operation by political cooperation. This is what we really need, and this is what we have to focus on right now.